Hello and welcome to ChairFit. I am Jen McQuay and I will be leading you through today's practice. So find yourself a chair, a set of hand weights, whatever feels safe, and a yoga strap or a belt if you have one. So we'll start warming up in the spine, seated cat-cow, sliding the hands towards the knees, tucking the chin to the chest, and then sliding those shoulder blades back together. Taking that gaze up and down nice and gentle. Just warming up in the back and the spine. Second movement, side stretch flow. Bringing one hand behind the head and gently leaning over, moving the spine side to side, stretching those side bodies. Another variation, you can bring the arm up overhead to stretch a little deeper if that feels safe. But again, spine side to side, side body stretching, warming up in the body here. Third movement for the spine, those seated rotations. So take that rotation just to a point that feels safe and feel that gentle wringing out of the spine as you rotate side to side. And then into a little cactus, open, close, opening the chest, rounding through the upper back. Everything moves with your breath at your pace. Everything to a point that feels safe in your body. And then give those shoulders a little wiggle, back to front, front to back, roll them around. Again, we're warming and waking up the body. Maybe take those arms out nice and wide, a little more of an opening in the chest, but give those elbows a little opening as well. Again, we want this free-flowing movement. And now into the neck, a little up and down for the front and back of the neck. And then a little side to side, always nice and gentle with the neck. So sides of the neck get that gentle stretch, and then some little circles around with the nose, just giving the neck even more of a stretch in both directions. All right, big circles on around, warming up the body, a few in each direction, and then start in a little seated march. Pump those arms, march those legs. Again, we are warming, waking up the body. Now into some leg step out, starting to warm up through those hips. Step open just to a point that feels safe in those hips. Feel the body warming on up here. All right, then circle out those hips. Few in each direction. Little bend and straighten. And then a little point and flex of that foot. We're just working our way through the leg, warming and waking it on up. When you make your way to that second side, circle that hip on around, few in each direction. And everything to a range of motion that feels safe. Into that bend and straighten. And then into that point and flex. Good. And then a little windshield wiper, just really making sure that lower body is feeling nice and warmed up. All right, second part. We're going to take a little sit to stand. So option one is to take that full sit to stand, just working on that squat. Again, everything has options. Find what feels good. Option two is just to take a little lift and come back down to the seat. So if you're not quite ready to stand all the way up, or if this variation feels a little gentle, always know you've got options. All right, moving into the upper body. Plant through the feet, tall spine, we'll start to take some bent arm lateral raise. So I like to call this one dry the deodorant, because then you know that you're hinging open at those underarms to get that good range of motion. And take it just till you're one straight line across through those shoulders. Again, finding a weight that feels good and safe. Taking a break at any point if you need to pause. So our bent arm lateral raise. Now into our bicep curls. So slow and steady, nice and controlled, moving with your breath. Good flowing breath for each lift and lower. Again, take everything at your pace. And just have that mind-body connection. Feel those biceps working hard here. All right, next up, you can set those weights on down and then come on up to stand. Again, clear your space if you've got stuff in the way. Make sure you got a clear space. All right, and then we're going to take a side leg raise. So make sure your standing leg is rooted and grounded. And then take that leg out to the side, just to a lift that feels like a safe range of motion. So standing leg is getting that strengthening. And now we're going to take it in reverse, those little lifts behind. So that hamstring and glute is getting that strengthening now. Okay. And then we'll move to the other side. You don't have to move your chair, I just moved to show the other side. Side leg lift. Again, try and keep that leg as straight as possible and just lift to a point that feels safe. Standing leg, rooted and grounded. Now that lift behind for that hamstring and glute. Those little lifts, those little booty pulses. We're strengthening in the lower body. All right, back to upper body. Let's let lower body rest. Now upper body. Upright row. So strong through your foundation. You can take this seated as well if you need to come back to your seat. But we're going to send those elbows up. Upright row. Move with your breath. And then we can set one weight on down. Always rearranging furniture. Find what feels best. All right, and now we're going to take a row and kick back. So row, slide the arm up alongside the body, elbow tucked in, and then kick it back for those triceps. So I have a little bit of a split stance here. You can find whatever foundation feels good for you. You can hold the chair. There's lots of options, but row and kick back. All right, and then we'll switch sides. So here is a variation kind of with a split stance, not using the chair, but rowing it up, kicking it back. Try to keep the chin lifted so the spine is nice and long. It just helps from rounding the back. We want a long spine, not a rounded back. So row, kick back. All right, and you can set that weight on down. Now we're going to take some calf raises. So these you can do at any point throughout your day, maybe when you are standing at the kitchen counter or as you brush your teeth. Adding some calf raises in is always a good thing. So lift the heels up on the toes. We're strengthening through the feet, the ankles, into those calves. Bear with me as I untangle my papers and come back to my seat. All right, so find those weights. Re-anchor in through your seat. Bring the heels in, lean back, and we're going to take those archer pulls. So option 1 is with the weights. So you can always drop the weights and take this body weight as well. But we are taking that gentle lean back and then sliding the arms alongside the body, archer pull. So here is a variation without the weights, and I'll turn to the side so you can see it a little better. So spine is tall, lean back, draw forward, lean back, draw forward. So just giving the core and the upper body a little bit more work here. So archer pulls. From here, we're going to take a little seated bicycle crunch. So taking opposite elbow to opposite knee. Exhale each cross crunch. So feeling that core working hard here through those obliques, the side bodies, and all through that abdomen. All right, so let's grab our yoga strap or belt or anything that you have that you can use for a strap. Have it nearby. But then first we're going to take a little long leg stretch. So just starting to gently stretch the back of the leg. So extend the leg out. You can take it standing. So there's lots of different ways that you can take this stretch. So hinge forward just to a point that feels safe. Again, we're stretching the back of the leg. Switching sides. And just good flowing breath here. Really starting to let the breath slow down. And then now you can find that yoga strap or belt and then extend that leg out long. So we're still stretching the back of the leg, just using the help of this yoga strap. You can kind of peel and bring the toes closer into the shin to stretch through that calf a little bit more. Then maybe add a little bend and straighten, a little more point flex, just bringing some stretch back in the leg. Now seated figure 4, you can cross at the ankle, you can cross at the shin, or if that leg stacks on top, and you can give a little lean forward, but find that hip stretch that feels safe in your body. Each exhale, feel the body relaxing, and then we'll switch it on out. So long leg stretch, again, nothing forced. Maybe add a little movement if that feels good. Kind of peel the toes in towards the shin to stretch up through that calf a little bit more. But get nice and gentle with our stretches. And then into that figure 4, cross at the ankle, the shin, or if it stacks, find that variation that feels best and safe on the second side. And you can hinge forward a little to deepen that stretch. All right, release on down. Final movements here. Some windshield wipers. A little more cactus open close to give the upper body a little stretch. Arm across stretch for that outer shoulder. Just stretching everything on back out. Shake it out in between. So outer shoulder stretch. And then into a tricep stretch. So just like you're patting yourself on the back, and then you can press that elbow up to stretch through that tricep into your second side. And then shake it on out. Any final movements, some wiggles, some circles on around. So thank you for joining me in this practice here. Have a great day.